Hello, friends, and welcome to the new episode of r/I Don't Work Here, Lady. Today we have 3 more brand new stories. So if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a new video every single day. Let's get started. Old lady cusses me out and gets instant karma. I work in a very small store in a very small community, and have worked there for over a year now. This particular store is surrounded by very small houses, usually occupied by the elderly and middle-aged single mothers with their multiple kids. The younger customers are usually on financial aid of some kind. Now, I love my job on most days. Usually everyone is friendly, and I have a hilarious and lovely group of regulars that I love to speak with. However, this time I had a night of almost no sleep and had to serve all of the usual jobless alcoholics and junkies in the area that morning, so I was a force to be reckoned with this morning. I tried my best to be upbeat and friendly with everyone because my mood had nothing to do with them whatsoever, and they didn't deserve to see it. Until she walks in. Let's call her Old Lady. She's an elderly lady who comes in every second day, almost never speaks to the employees, and is usually not an issue for us. But this morning, she was an absolute nightmare for absolutely no reason. A bit of necessary detail for all of you. My store has a checkout policy where you only need to call for someone else to jump into another register and serve customers if there are more than 3 customers waiting. Otherwise, 1 is enough, and I have over 4 years of retail experience. I'm 21, so I'm lightning fast on the register and can serve those 3 people within a minute. I'm serving 1 man in front of me, another man behind him, and the old lady is behind the second man. When she joins the line of customers, I'm just finishing up serving the first man and moving on to the second when I hear her complain to another customer. "They're supposed to ring for someone else, another employee," she says in a very grumpy voice. I couldn't hear what the other customer said, but he didn't sound all that bothered, so I ignored her and continued to serve the man in front of me while I hear her continue to complain about me in the background. I finish serving my customer, then the old lady walks up to me with her basket of items. I smile and say, "Good morning," and begin scanning her stuff. She leans forward on the counter and glares daggers at me. "You're supposed to call for someone else when there's people in the line," she growled at me, slowly as if scolding a child. I feel my heart begin to race, but I try my best to keep calm. I have an anxiety disorder, and I don't cope well with confrontation, especially when I've done nothing wrong, so I tend to get upset very easily. I explained the policy to her as politely as I could, that I don't have to call for another employee unless there are more than 3 people waiting. When she joined the line, there were only 2. "I don't care. You're supposed to call." I started to shake and told her, "I just served you within 15 seconds of you joining the line." "You all think you're so effing clever in here, don't you?" she grumbled as she pulled out her purse to pay for her items. My eyes widened to the size of dinner plates, and I felt my heart beat faster. I felt the anger rising. "Excuse me?" I ask, and she shakes her head as if she didn't even hear me. "Stupid bee," she grumbles as she places her card in the card reader. That was it. That crossed the line for me. I press the button on my screen to cancel the transaction, and she briefly freezes as the machine refuses her card. She looks up at me in anger and gives me a face that says, "What?" Me. "I'm not going to serve you if you're going to speak to me that way." I sound quite firm, but on the inside, I am angry and not in the mood to deal with the disrespect. She just scoffs, pushes her basket of items towards me, which I take, and continues to cuss me out. "You all think you're so effing clever in this shop," she yells at me, and I somehow manage to contain the tears. "Fine, take this stuff, you stupid effing bee," she continues as she storms out of the shop. I turn to face the new line of customers that is formed during this confrontation, and I notice that everybody is looking at me in sympathy. I take a deep breath to try and steady my now racing heart, and I say to the man in front of me, "You can't demand a service while simultaneously insulting those providing it for you." I take another breath before I begin to serve him. He smiles in response to what I said and attempts to pay for his items with his card. That's when I noticed. The old lady had left her bank card in the card reader. I let out a short laugh and I said, karma, before placing it on the counter behind me, making the customers laugh too. A few of the customers in line gave me a thumbs up and let me know that I was not in the wrong and that I did the right thing. But I was still extremely shaken up. My anxiety does not allow me steady emotions at this moment in time, and I did end up calling for my coworker to take over my register while I disappeared into the back of the store for a quick cry and a panic attack. My supervisor was supportive and brought me a glass of water, assuring me I did the right thing before leaving me alone for 10 minutes until I felt well enough to return to work. The old lady did not return to the store to retrieve her bank card until a few days later. She was confronted by my supervisor for cussing at staff members, but denied everything. My supervisor didn't believe her. He later told me it was because she'd done this before, and I've not seen her since. Sorry if that's a bit anticlimactic, but seeing her leave her card behind did give me a great deal of satisfaction that I'm sure I would have enjoyed more if I weren't literally about to burst into tears at any second. Anyone who leaves mean comments about me getting upset over nothing clearly does not have an anxiety disorder and loses their right to an opinion on the matter. Have a nice day. I would have loved to have cut up her card, but I would have gotten in trouble as it's not allowed where I live. We keep the card until it's asked for, and if you can prove the card is yours, we give it back. We only destroy the card if over a week has passed and it remains unclaimed. Update. She's come into the shop a few times over the past few weeks and has been very polite and friendly. She either doesn't recognize me, new hair color, or she has genuinely forgot the encounter, or has chosen to pretend it never happened. And our next story. Crazy lady screams at me that she's just looking, then screams because I left her to look. So this happened yesterday. I work as a sales assistant in a little boutique in my small town. We sell clothes, jewelry, and homewares, and since it's such a little shop, we usually only have one worker at a time, especially on Wednesday afternoons, which is when this incident occurred. A mid-30ish looking woman and her daughter walk into the store. We'll call the woman CL for Crazy Lady, and her daughter doesn't need a name because she didn't do anything. I'll be me. Me. Good afternoon. How are you today? CL. Audibly huffing and just continuing to look. Okay, maybe she didn't hear me. I'll try again in a minute. So I walk over to where she is. Me. Have you had a good day today? CL. I'm just looking, okay? I'm just looking, so you can just let me look. Do you understand what just looking even means? This woman just yelled in my face. So I'm thinking, alrighty then, B, F you. You can look all you damn want because I'm not helping you again. So I keep on going with my tasks. It was about 10 minutes later when I heard a weird tapping. I didn't think much of it because the shop next door sometimes has some weird noises. The tapping continued for another 5 minutes. It started to get louder, so I went to look and see what it was. I found CL just around the corner, tapping her foot aggressively. CL, finally! I've been needing your assistance. Why weren't you here to help me? Oh, I'm sorry. I was under the impression you were just looking. Don't be so damn rude. You should be serving people the whole time, not just leaving them by themselves. Idiot. Look, I need these pants in a different size. So she shoves these pants at me, very roughly, I might add. The pants she gave me were from a rack clearly labeled last of the best, final item, 70% off. Me. Oh, sorry, but that's the last pair. CL. You don't have any more? What kind of stupid shop is this if you don't even have the right sizes? Me. Well, we did, but they've sold, and this is the last pair. CL. You know what? This shop is effing useless. Useless customer service. You had me waiting for 15 minutes. Obviously needed help. You should have been there. I'm never coming back here again, so you better understand that you've lost a very valuable customer today, and I expect you will be fired for this. Do you understand me? She was yelling as she was leaving the store, continuing as she walked out and past our windows. I work almost every day, and I have literally never seen this lady before, so I'm not too worried about losing her business. You've lost a very valuable customer. She's made out of gold and diamonds. Not that she was spended. And our last story. Lady was furious with me because she shopped a day early. So I guess I'm supposed to say this happened a few years ago, back before I managed to escape retail. I was working in a large franchise supermarket in Britain when I was 17. Just a weekend job to gather some pocket money and pay for beer. My role was at the checkout, sitting there every weekend processing people shopping. One day I was serving a middle-aged lady, late 40s, early 50s. And when she approached, I said the usual, "Hi there, do you need a hand packing?" B lady completely ignored me. So I thought, brilliant, 5 minutes to my own thoughts. I finished the rather large shop she had brought to me and told her the price, asked if she had a insert shop loyalty card here. She then handed me a voucher she'd gotten in the post. Our store's franchise would send monthly vouchers to redeem in store if they had a loyalty card and used it frequently. And the vouchers would be dated with a use before and after date to encourage shopping there weekly. So I try to scan the voucher through my checkout, and it doesn't accept it. I was an old hand by then, so I knew to check the date to make sure it was in date. It wasn't for use until tomorrow. Kinda sucks, I get it, but there's nothing I could do. I explained to the B lady what the problem was, and I'm then greeted by a storm of insults as if the cold front of this low-pressure system was straight from an angry sea. "It's in date, you liar! I shop here every week on the same day. You're just pocketing my money, you B-word." My job was not nearly well paid enough to deal with this, so I called my manager and left the checkout. Later, after my break, I found out my manager had given the lady the money off and left the voucher with her to use again. I was told next time I should just not tell anybody that their vouchers don't work, but ask a higher-up to discuss it with them instead. I learned that day that I am a mindless machine programmed to make companies money, and we should all be sheep and cattle. I'm glad I left it there. 5 years later. Spineless management is what causes and encourages this behavior. The manager should have backed you up. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video to the end, and I'll see you in the next one.